Good morning, Kelvin.
Morning.
Just wanted to, well, first of all, I would imagine with Sunday's game has anything changed regarding Temple's situation and how that would affect you, or is the game, in your mind, still a go?
As far as I know, it's still a go.
Okay. And also just now that, you've had some time, what's this week been like since we last talked to you in terms of getting some guys back or getting back on the practice court?
Um, we started this year with six guards, and I liked all six of them. Obviously, um, Jamal, our starting lineup early in the year, we had a scrimmage and we started Marcus, Kyler, and Tramon. And that was probably at that time, our best backcourt. Now that's a very talented backcourt, high level backcourt. Then we could tell Tramon's shoulder was going to be an issue. So we reacted to his pain level. By the way, when they did the surgery, he tore his labrum on both sides. I mean, he has a tear here and a tear in the back. So, sometimes God just really, really speaks to you. Him shutting it down and having surgery was such a great decision for that young man. Because as a coach, you don't like seeing your kids in pain. So I'm just grateful that that decision was made for him. So when Tramon goes down, here comes Jamal Shead. Obviously, we recruited Jamal, so we had a little bit of idea, and we watched him last year going against Dejan. In a lot of days, especially second semester, he was the best guard on the floor, and that was a Final Four team. So he could play against, Dejan Giroux's NBA player, Quentin Grimes, a first round draft choice, Marcus Sasser, you know, playing as good as any guard, in the country, I think. But there's days he was the best guard on the floor. So we knew how good he was going to be this year, taking his steps. But I don't think anybody anticipates losing three guards, basically in a day. December 23 will always be, Black Thursday. Tramon had surgery Wednesday morning. Marcus breaks his foot that night, and Kyler has a grade 2 sprain during the same game. So this week we've practiced with Jamal, Taze, and Ramon, and no other guard. Robbie is not a guard. He never has been and may never will be. I mean, he's really recruited his as a specialty guy as a small ball four. So you just don't take guys and put them in the backcourt because you need somebody there. They got to be able to play in the backcourt. So we're thin. We're really thin there. Don't have much of a margin of error. The good news is we have our front line. Josh Carlton, Reggie Chaney, Fabian White, J1 Roberts. All those guys are healthy. Knock on wood. Ready to go. It's just the backcourt. We're thin. Losing Marcus is obviously losing a lot. Somebody that just dropped down from Mars may look and they'll say, well, they're not very good shooters. Well, no team has a good shooting team if you take your best shooters off of it. Our best shooters were Kyler and Marcus. Marcus is, I can't tell you the level he was playing at. It was just ridiculous how good he was playing. But we're no different than anybody else. You take your best player out, you have to figure some things out, and I just don't have the answers right now. We're working hard to put our kids in the best position where they can succeed. But I'm anxious to see them. I'm not anxious. Probably not the right word. I'm excited. I'm excited to see these kids. Our practices have been very spirited. We've had to use some grad assistants and managers to help us. Right, just don't have any numbers. We only have three guards, so you got to have three guards to play against. one of those guards would be a walk-on, and Ryan Elvin. We could play him in a pinch. We may have to move Fabian to the 3. I'm not sure he was put on this earth to be a guard, but when you're in these situations, you do what you have to do. So, but nobody's feeling sorry for the Cougars, especially us. We'll man up and get out there and get after them. Our culture's still there. Our kids are going to play hard. They're going to guard. We'll try to rebound it the best we can. And just let the game tell us what to do. If you listen to the game, it oftentimes will tell you what to do.
Hey, Joseph, we've got Andy on it. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin, how you doing?
You really want to know, Andy, or is that just an obligatory question?
No, I asked you. That's why I stopped. I didn't follow up with no question. Genuine question.
Usually, guys say, "Kelvin, how you doing? What do you think about?" Okay, so I appreciate that. So the answer is, I'm doing great. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing great too. Happy New Year's to you and everyone else on this call.
Thank you. Same to you and everybody else.
For sure. I want to follow up on something you said. I believe it was Monday regarding the medical red shirt, and I think it was if a player plays less than 30% of the season games, he's eligible for a medical red shirt. And I was just curious if you guys have. Would Tramon Mark be eligible for a medical red shirt? I believe he's only played like 7 games.
Yeah, he would be, and we'll file the necessary forms. We've had many guys have medical red shirts over the years, and so we'll just follow the protocols for that and apply for it, and you should be able to get it. But those medical red shirts are becoming obsolete in today's climate with everything that goes on. But we will do that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kelvin, you got me thinking about my salutations to you when I asked how you're doing. I believe you once told us your dad always told you what was that quote about better
always
than
always do good. Some days are better than others, but you always do good.
Okay, I wanted to remember that one.
There you go.
Kelvin, back on is what's Kyler's timetable, or is there one?
Yeah, that was a pretty nasty sprain he had, Joseph, which, he hasn't practiced, obviously. Last time we saw him. And actually, I thought from a body language, as far as getting comfortable, knowing his role, we knew it was going to take a while, for him, to get there. When you have a year like last year and start off the way we did this year, there's a tendency from the outside looking in, and you forget we lost 4 starters off a 28-4 Final Four team. I didn't. We have so many brand new faces, new players. Taze Moore, Josh Carlton, Kyler Edwards. They never played for us before this year. And now, Kyler got hurt against Texas State. So I think that was the 22nd. Today's the 31st, is it? New Year's Eve, huh? Just having him out, it's I feel bad for the kid because he was starting to get comfortable, It's not that kids struggle in the pure definition of the word. Sometimes they just have to understand where they fit in the context of what's good for the team. Marcus is our best player. You don't have 2 best players. Who's your best player? Who are you playing through? Close games at the end. You gotta have that guy. Now, I'm not sure. I don't know who our best player is now. We've got some candidates. But a lot of these kids were better being the second, third guy, or the third and fourth guy, or maybe a 5th guy. So everybody's just got to change chairs. But I don't anticipate having Kyler, and we're still 48 hours away. You never know, but I don't anticipate that.
We'll go to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, with Temple and their health uncertainty, how do you prepare to face them? Do you know who they may have play, or does it matter at all?
Doesn't matter. I prepare for the team that's been playing. I prepare for Damian Dunn, Jeremiah Williams, outstanding backcourt. They just had a kid to make 10 threes in their last game. Zach Hicks. Good chance we'll prepare for him. Forster is in his third year starting against us. So we're familiar with some of our players. Dunn's really good. He's an all-conference type guy. Williams is just a steady and influence out there, point guard. Then I think where Aaron has really helped this team is athleticism and length. Everybody, they start 6'5", 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", 6'10", and then their guys off the bench are all 6'8", 6'7". They're just real long, very athletic. The Strickland kid had 21 in their win at Vanderbilt. He's an X factor for him off the bench. So, we just prepare for the roster. I like their team. Aaron's a good coach, done a good job with that roster.
Go back to Joseph Duarte. Joseph, go ahead, please.
Kelvin, in the last week, or last couple of weeks, we've talked about Ramon and sort of his contributions and coming off of the hand surgery. I was wondering, of the guys that you now move forward with that are of the younger types, anyone else that you're either, maybe anxious to look at, see on the floor in some, bigger minutes, or anybody in practice that you had available that's
we don't have anybody. There's nobody else to look at. We're out.
Well,
I guess is empty. The guys that aren't playing are playing a position where the guys are healthy in front of them, so there is nobody else.
Right.
Well, Josh Carlton and Reggie at the 5. Now, if those two guys got hurt, which the way we're going, that's certainly a possibility. I'd play J.V. Aaron. I'd be excited to see him, but he's not going to play in front of them. And then Robbie is behind Fabian and J1. There is nobody else.
Okay. Yeah.
Bag is empty. We've emptied it.
We'll
one of the great joys of life. You take things and get excited about it, but you order something from McDonald's and you get a small fry, and you realize that I don't need a medium fry. I'll take it. You get the bag of small fries and you look at it and it's not as much as you thought. Then all of a sudden you start digging at your hamburger or what else. You look and there's like 10 fries in the bottom of the bag. And that's exciting. Yeah, just a good feeling to know that you still got stuff in the bag. Well, all my fries are in the bag. There is no fries that spilled over. So we've got some ketchup for the fries, but we don't have any extra fries in the bag, Joseph.
Gotcha.
So no excitement there.
Gotcha.
We'll go back to Chris Gardner. Chris, go ahead, please.
Coach, when you were younger, I guess your thoughts on the passing of Celtics great Sam Jones. If you hadn't heard, he passed today, or I think last night, but it was announced today.
My dad's favorite player. John Havlicek, Sam Jones, Stack Sanders, Bill Russell. Those were his guys. I was born and raised in a small town, just a small country town called Pembroke, North Carolina. But I was born in Laurinburg, North Carolina. And there was a school in Laurinburg called Laurinburg Institute. And two of the most famous graduates of Laurinburg Institute was Sam Jones, who went on to have great fame in the NBA, one of the great guards in the Oscar Robertson, Jerry West era. And then Charlie Scott, who was the first African-American player at the University of North Carolina. all from Laurinburg, and it was a lot of, the gym probably only seated about 300 people. The rims were always bent. It was, just to put that in perspective, the high school I went to, the rims were never bent. Because nobody could dunk and grab it and bend it. But the Sam Jones, it just puts your life in perspective that those people never heard of him. But I was raised with Sam Jones and Oscar Robertson when I was a little boy. Jerry West, Elgin Baylor was a little bit before my time. Will Chamberlain, Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier. But Sam Jones perfected the bank shot. When everybody shot everything straight in, and obviously this was an NBA before the 3-point line. But my father loved Sam Jones. I was more of a Philadelphia 76er guy. Hal Greer, Wally Jones, Billy Cunningham, Luke Jackson, Wilt Chamberlain. That was their starting lineup. And then Boston was Casey Jones, Sam Jones, Satch Sanders, Bailey Howe, Bill Russell. Havlicek came off the bench. But those were great moments in the NBA. That was back before cable, so the only time you got to see an NBA game was on Sunday afternoon. You always looked forward to it. And they always had the best teams on, so you always got to see Bill Russell and the Celtics, Wilt Chamberlain and the 76ers, and then Jerry West and the Lakers. And then Oscar Robertson with the Cincinnati Royals. Those were probably the best teams back then.
And then one last thing, Coach. Has Emanuel Sharp arrived, and how does he look so far, health-wise, anything like that?
He's just been going through the medical checks the last 2 days. I did bring him out yesterday, and I was anxious to see if we had anybody who can make 2 straight free throws. And lo and behold, Emanuel Sharp came out in front of everybody and made 2 straight free throws. I said, good. I'm going to petition to see if you can shoot the technicals. I don't think that'll fly, but that was a good introduction from him to the team. I'm sure he garnered some respect for that. But I think today will be his first official practice. I think he's been officially cleared by John Houston and our medical staff. But he's ready to go. He's here. He looks good. He's got some work to do, like all new players. 3 years ago, Caleb Mills did the same thing, and it was a tremendous advantage for Caleb. And I think it'll be the same thing for Emanuel going into next season.
Time for one more question, and then we'll go to the TV crew. But we've got Joseph Duarte for the last question here. Joseph, go ahead, please.
Kelvin, just wanted to check on Marcus. He mentioned yesterday that the surgery went well. Was it about what everyone expected in terms of what they went in and did? And is his rehab now where you just kind of get things going there with John, and I guess you said he will continue to travel, right?
Yeah, when he can. Same with Tramon. Tramon's got this big intergalactic looking sling on his hand with all these different things on it. Keep his arm away from his body at the right angle. But Tramon's already in the training room every day getting on his rehab. I think his is a 5 to 5.5 month recovery rehab, whereas Marcus's is 8 weeks. But Marcus' surgery went well. His wasn't a complete fracture. Fabian and Galen did it twice. Fabian once, LJ Rose, Mikhail McLean. I mean, we've had some experience with this fracture. Matter of fact, Temple's best player, Khalif Battle, I think he had the exact same fracture on his left foot as Marcus did. But Marcus's wasn't a snap. It wasn't all the way through. It was more of a hairline fracture. But still a surgery. They cut you in, went in and repaired it. I think they put a screw in Marcus's. So, it's still, I think 8 to 10 weeks And, you pray for those kids to have great recovery so they can, be able to play next season.